Good morning. I want to start by showing you all a photograph that has been printed recently in a popular magazine here in America. We see images like this one daily, but it is rare that we look at it with a critical eye. At first glance, we may not take note that there is not a single woman pictured that has a dark skin complexion. This is likely because in our country, there is a feminine beauty ideal that consists of a light skin tone, and this ideal is used by mega companies to sell products. There is a psychological effect that images such as this have on people everywhere. Given this fact, could the presence of this, rooted in the West beauty ideal, in globalized magazines, change or reinforce the feminine beauty ideals for people of different cultures in other countries? The answer is yes. And this process happens through what anthropologists call globalization. For my thesis, I propose that because cultures strongly influence the processes of globalization, the magazines Cosmopolitan India, Cosmopolitan Thailand, and Cosmopolitan South Africa work to support a global homogenization of feminine beauty ideals to their respective readerships. According to George Ritzler, globalization is the worldwide diffusion of practices, expansion of relations across continents, organization of social life on a global scale, and growth of a shared global consciousness. There are a few forms of globalization, and these include technical, cultural, and monetary. The spread of the Cosmopolitan magazine globally could be categorized as cultural globalization. Anthropologists have found that through this process, unique ideas of a culture could be erased forever. And in this way, certain authors may view globalization as a negative process. However, others may see it as a very positive process. For example, South Africa's minister in the presidency has stated that in South Africa, it takes a global competitive marketplace as a point of departure when visualizing a political and economic renewal. Throughout history, trade between societies has affected the cultures of people involved, and therefore, globalization is not a new process. However, anthropologists are interested in how today's technology has sped up the procedures by a great deal. It has now grown into a theory in anthropology. Within the theory of globalization lies a less broad theory of modernization. It has some unique origins. According to scholars, both modernization and globalization are essential to consider if an aim is to comprehend contemporary globalization. Modernization theory today focuses primarily on technology. How technology has played a major part in how parts of the world are becoming more and more similar to each other. According to author Joyce Appleby, sociologists in the early 20th century utilized this theory and others like it in order to better understand the various ways in which European industrialization caused displacement in society. This theory explains how cosmopolitan magazines can work to homogenize, change, and/or reinforce cultural values such as beauty ideals, since it is a form of Western media that through the greater efficiency of technology has spread internationally. Dean Tips states that modernization theory is considered to be a multifaceted process involving changes in all areas of human thought and activity. Next, I will discuss how culture is influenced through processes of globalization through something called cultural imperialism. Cultural imperialism is an imperialism of values which superimposes American, or more broadly, Western cultural choices upon other societies. Furthermore, when these Western ideals are viewed as ideals that are international instead of rooted in the West, and these ideals potentially take precedence over local traditional practices, then this is also considered cultural imperialism. While transnational companies, such as Cosmopolitan, maybe provided local people with employment opportunities, the cultural imperialism thesis states that their products and technologies also promote capitalist values and somewhat idealized Western or American lifestyle. The feminine beauty ideal is a socially constructed notion that physical attractiveness is one of women's most important assets and something all women should strive to achieve and maintain. However, the actions taken to be beautiful are a priority predominantly in Euro-American women who have the resources, time, and energy to expend on acquired beauty. For my research, I considered that if cosmopolitan magazines in India, Thailand, and South Africa were to predominantly publish images of women that appear Caucasian over other skin complexions in the content and or advertisements, then the brand is, in a sense, claiming that Caucasian skin is more beautiful than any of the other existing skin tones. Cosmopolitan released a statement to Zinio.com, which is where that I purchased the international magazine to do my research on. And they said that Cosmopolitan isn't just a magazine, it's a religion. Now in its 15th year in India, Cosmopolitan is the world's largest selling magazine with 200 million readers annually in 100 countries. It is published in over 26 languages, but at its core, it speaks only one, that of the fun, fearless females globally. Another language it speaks, that of the stupendous success. Top Indian actresses, models, and singers have been on the cover of Cosmopolitan before the rest of the world recognize their spark. Because we know a fun, fearless female when we see them. When we put someone on the Cosmopolitan cover, we acknowledge her right to be counted among the best in the business. I thought when I read this, if it's true that Cosmopolitan speaks to all women globally, then what is the brand saying to women in India, Thailand, and South Africa about what it means to be beautiful? If the brand knows a fun, fearless female when they see one, what does she look like? Does one country's Cosmopolitan magazine show more diversity with their skin tones used on their models in their content than another? And what are the positive and negative implications of these global homogenized feminine beauty ideals present in Cosmopolitan? So for my data, I did a content analysis on the February 2012 issue of Cosmopolitan India, the January 2011 issue of Cosmopolitan Thailand, and the March 2012 issue of Cosmopolitan South Africa. I did this in order to analyze the diversity of skin pigmentation, or lack thereof, present in the magazine. These international magazines are available for purchase on Zinio.com, which is the site that sells electronic literature. The method I chose to utilize for picking my issues for each of the countries was whatever the site was promoting the most. And I did this because it was selling the most in that country, and therefore maybe being seen the most in each country. Text was secondary data to the images. I took a quantitative analysis of women with a dark skin tone and also a quantitative analysis of women with a light skin tone that appeared in each magazine. Observations of skin pigmentation belonging to each woman pictured in each magazine were based off of the skin pigmentation chart I found in the book called Earth, A Visitor's Guide to the Human Race by John Stewart. This is what the chart looks like. And it's 9 on each side, skin tones, and 9 are considered dark skin tones, and the other 9 are considered light skin tones. The value in this chart lies in that 50% light, 50% dark. So it is important to notice the evenness of the chart in that way. The number of women who fell into each skin category was recorded and used in the statistical analysis. All black and white photographs that contained women were not used in this study, since determining skin pigmentation in this situation would prove to be impossible. However, they were recorded because it can tell us something about what the magazine is trying to do in order to promote equalness in skin pigmentation. If the picture is in black and white and it can't be determined, then it can't be harmful to a person's self-esteem because the skin pigmentation cannot be determined in the picture. So I recorded that anyway. In a situation where the same woman's image appeared more than once on a page, and it was smaller than 3 inches, each image, this individual would only be counted once. And this is because it likely equals the visual impact of one larger image of a woman on the consumer. For example, in cosmopolitan India, there was a workout sequence where a woman was showing how to do a workout, and her image appeared several times. I would only record this woman once. However, if the images were larger than 3 inches, then she was recorded as many times as she appeared on the page. This was done because the visual impact of such large images is likely to be highly influential to the consumer. For my data analysis on cosmopolitan India, I found that for all of the magazine studies, in fact, the skin pigmentation category of 1, which is this category right here, was observed the most. So that's for all the magazines. For India specifically, there was a strikingly large disparity between the 51% of women that fell into the light skin category of 1, which is this one, 51% of women, and the darkest skin pigmentation category of 18, which is right next to it all the way on the other side, which I called 18. I numbered them 1 through 18. This consisted of 0 women. So 51% of women in this category and 0% of women in this category. This is showing lack of diversity in this magazine. In my data analysis of cosmopolitan Thailand, there was another large disparity of the 49% of women that fell into the category of 1, and the darkest of 18 was 0, again. Finally, in South Africa, I observed that there was a small level of increased diversity when compared to the other 2 issues. 45% of the women fell in 1, and 0.4% in 18. Very small increase of diversity between these extremes of skin pigmentation health. Therefore, because culture is strongly influenced through the process of modernization, the magazines Cosmopolitan India, Cosmopolitan Thailand, and Cosmopolitan South Africa work to support a global homogenization of feminine beauty ideals for respective leadership. Thank you.